Honestly, I'm not mad at this at all. I love a black woman being a superhero on TV. It's super representative. We want black people in good shows.
Yeah, your beat's been popping.
So, I originally started talking about the new Batwoman with Ryan Wilder, a black bat. Because it just is that meaty, thick, and delicious and amazing, and I'm excited to talk about it, so let's get into it. Initially started with writing this on Tumblr. Go follow me so you can see more daily blogs that I talk about a variety of stuff, but sports, politics, social life, personal poems, all of the types to keep you entertained during these days. I started with episode 203 because I feel like it's the real meat of the season. Episode 1 and 2 is establishing Ryan Wilder as a character in the show, whereas episode 203 through 205, because this is actually the second season of this show, which plays into a lot of the plot of the show. And by the way, absolutely spoilers. How do you talk about a show with your homie without actually saying what the plot is? That's not fun. So unfortunately, if you don't want to be spoiled about new things, especially in season 1, you might want to just wait until you finish watching it and then just come on back here. You're always welcome. Episode 203 starts to get into the real meat of it. And the first thing I have to say about episode 203 is Victor fucking Zaz. You gave Kate Kane, her sister, who cannot decide whether she wants to actually kill her or not, as her first real villain. And you gave Batwoman Victor fucking Zaz and Sophia? That's not fair. Like, something ain't feeling right. They should go on to things that aren't racist but feel racist. They really gave this black woman, who never, by the way, has done this before, Victor fucking Zaz. But honestly, she handles it amazingly, and honestly, he pushes her character further than maybe she originally thought. As we go throughout the episode, we see Victor Zaz tell her, basically, you don't really seem like a good Batwoman. You seem like a villain. And Ryan Wilder does not seem like the fill-in type, if I'm just being honest. She likes being front. She likes being ahead. She's obviously a top. So I really enjoyed that episode because she took command of the Batwoman persona truly. In other episodes, you saw why she had the ability to be Batwoman. Her intellect in Gotham and the cities, and especially in urban communities where homeless people may be living, because she herself was homeless. She has the hope. She has the charisma. She has the fighting skills. But who fucking cares? Who are you? Who wears the symbol? That's what everybody asks themselves, no matter if it's Batman or Batwoman. Who is wearing the symbol? If everybody only cared that it was the symbol, people wouldn't be literally like hunting for information about who Batman is. And it's the same thing with Ryan Wilder. As she allows herself to be adapted into the new Batwoman suit, people are absolutely going to be curious of who this new Batwoman is, simply because of who Ryan Wilder actually is. She's a person with a prior criminal history. Say that, and it's actually an episode name. She also brings so much more depth in her backstory, which I think I love her backstory as we get into the next episode. But finishing up 203, we also get to see, of course, our little side story with Alice, my girl, probably my spirit animal. She is obviously trying to combat some trauma that won't allow her to just not kill her fucking sister. You think... No, I get it. If you went through what she went through, is that the reason that I don't mind her little backstory? It's the same it's like Oliver Queen's backstory in Arrow. It's the same thing. She disappeared and she wasn't exactly where people thought she was. So like in the first season, we figure out that she's with a very abusive person who is keeping her and holding her and kidnapping her. Also similar to Ryan Wilder's backstory. But in the second season, you realize that she also went somewhere else when she tried to escape with Sophia. This Sophia character, who is also becoming a main villain for this season, obviously has some historical ties to Alice, and we are slowly untwining, untwisting, unraveling what that means exactly. And now we've introduced this hunka ocean. In episode 204, you are introduced to Ryan Wilder's backstory, and oh my god, it is tragic. And I think that that's kind of what comes with being Batwoman or Batman, is that there's something tragic happening to you personally in your life. And unlike with Kate Kane, it was something that directly happened to her. In this episode named Fair Skin, Blue Eyes, we see that Ryan Wilder gets kidnapped after she is sent into an orphanage. She often talks about how horrible and racist the orphanage system is, that how many black and brown girls and boys go missing every day in the system, and they just think they run away because of trauma. And I just don't understand why that people would think that a 12 or 13-year-old kid would want to go anywhere by themselves. All just chalked it up to delinquency. We also see some parallels to her being missing and Beth being missing that I will allow you to go see in the episode, because I do think it's really, really interesting to see. Which is what I will say this episode did really, really well. Instead of telling me everything that happened, it just showed me, and then it made it a complete parallel to an actual thing that was happening in the show. I actually live tweeted during this episode just because of how moved I was by the comparisons to how much we ignore black women and their pain for everything else. I tweeted Luke Fox Black Male Weakest Link was showing this week, because he was trying to go prioritize the life of a person he believed to still be alive over a little black boy because it was coming from Ryan. And that's just the honest truth. He doesn't want her to be Batwoman at the time. They still haven't quite gotten over the thought of Kate Kane potentially never coming back as Batwoman, which we all know is going to happen, but we just don't know how it's going to happen. But I was met back with a response that was like, he was just grieving. And I was like, yeah, but nonetheless, black women often are placed on the other side of anger, to where her feelings of something really important to her were pushed aside for someone who now know is going to probably be fine, because she's being used as leverage to get back at some bigger plan. But this black boy doesn't give a fuck about this billionaire white woman. He needs help now. And if not for the persistency of this black woman, this black boy was going to do something that the police would have called delinquency, and another black life ruined. And especially as we get into the next episode with what we're more told about, we're going to see it ingrained even more. It does not matter what the excuse is. Nonetheless, Luke Fox right now is showing his weakest link character, that how is it we understand that this stuff happens, and yet I'm the only person putting everything on the line, because she went back to her abuser's house, to her kidnapper's house to go find this guy. You don't think that was traumatic? You don't think that was hurtful and harmful? Yes, it was, but she did not care, because she understood it did not matter for that child's life. She saved a cop that she does not even care for. She sacrificed everything in order for this black boy to be okay. And you didn't even sit down and listen to her story. You didn't even listen to her story. And to me, that was just a little hurtful still to see, but I think that it shows a version of writing that I think writers and in writer rooms don't understand how easy it can be to get a character to be empathized and related to, when you simply make them a person of color. They can have such a multiplicity and non-monolithic life, but they're all going to go through some semblance of understanding that they are a black person, and that will be a backstory that will make them seem resilient, because it just is. Being a black person in this country, in this world, requires resiliency. Not that we want it to, but we have to. And so Ryan Wilder being a black bat queer person is just amazing for us to be able to watch and see, because of what I truly cannot wait and expect. And that takes us to our third episode, 205. Gore on Canvas picks up where we're about to learn more and more about what the heck this painting has to do with Sophia. I still kind of miss what the whole history of the painting is, but I think it has to do with the Joker and blood, and who cares because it's not really that important, but like interesting that they drop his name. But we pick up where she has to infiltrate a society in order to get this canvas. But to do so, she's being asked to work with the crows. In the beginning of the episode, she points to, of course, the beautiful ACAB sign, but in their universe, it stands for all crows are bastards. It allows us as a people, especially this day and age, and it's easy to do so because it's not like they're bringing it out of nowhere. The crows have been corrupt and been told they're corrupt from first season 1. The crows have been thought as an organization that is abusing its power a bit too much from the get-go. So it makes sense to double down on it now that it's a black Batwoman who's a vigilante. She doesn't care about crows at all. She doesn't give a fuck about the cops. And even though, and Batwoman with Kate Kane, that was her limitation. She would never kill a crow. And honestly, we still gotta work on that moral line of no killing with Ryan, but a part of me enjoys the fact that there's a real part of her that recognizes she is a black woman saving people who might not actually want her to be saving her, if in real life. And we see that as she goes to a probation officer and she is being talked about in front of as a hero and then looked at as a black woman. And it's like, god dang, I'm literally saving these goddamn crows on one day, and then I'm being treated like a black woman the next day. And that we can freaking understand. We can understand being someone who helps society, who encourages society, especially black women. We vote together. We vote for the good of society. We understand intersectionality at a rate better than most minorities. And yet we are treated as if we know nothing. And in this episode, we finally get to see Luke and Ryan connect. Luke and Ryan hadn't been connecting yet because there was this huge line of, "You're not Kate Kane." And personally, I didn't like it. Personally, I feel like if anyone should understand why you shouldn't, like, the fact that he assumed that her prior criminal history was her fault. You know the system is bad. It hurt your parents. It killed your father. Why did you not, there's not even an assumption of this is maybe not her fault, or maybe it's not what it seemed like. No, you didn't. You didn't think of that once. And but women often think that. I know I often do when it comes to any minority and being in this system. It's hard to stay right in a system that says from the moment you come out a certain tone that you're wrong. You have to make a lot of precise decisions to stay as close to right in a system that says, no, you are absolutely wrong. And where is that assumption? Why is it not there? And those are questions I think maybe quite too deep for Batwoman. But I think for me, the fact that the question can be derived from the show is why I love it so much. And recommend the show to people because it makes me excited. And that's our last little segment, is what am I excited for when it comes to the show? Crossovers. Duh. Ryan Wilder brings a chaos to the show already, from being a black woman with a prior criminal history who was homeless, who came from nothing, and using the assets she is given for whatever she feels is right. And I feel like that is exactly what Bat feels like. That's what that simple means. And I think when she goes into other people's lives, like Barry Allen, and I can't wait till she gets to meet Black Lightning, and I can't wait till she gets to project her thoughts onto the universe. And I think that they'll have the greatest opportunity to not just make her a representation, a color, a person of color in that cool little poster they do every year, but a crucial character in the crisis. Like someone who's thinking of the plans because she has ideas. She understands things. She understands how to be stealthy like the Bat. She understands how to do her own research like the Bat. She understands how to not trust people until she She just doesn't trust people fully. Which is the Bat. You know, she upholds a lot of those morals naturally, where I feel like Kate never did. Kate consistently questioned if she could be a hero, whereas it came naturally for Ryan. She saved her ex-girlfriend. She went try to save her mom. She was trying to revenge. She was already being a vigilante before she got sued. She was going to do what she was going to do before she got sued. She just had more access to an actual way to do it when she got it. And to me, the fact that she already has that mindset makes her more of a Bat than Kate Kane was. Because Ryan gets to come into all of this family drama and basically have to fix it for everyone. And I just cannot wait for that moment of, you cannot say I'm not the Bat. Who fixed this? Who saved this? Not that woman who got kidnapped. Me, the person wearing the actual suit. And I think either Kate Kane, my prediction, I don't know, we'll have to watch the rest of the season, which is what I'm excited for. If Kate Kane will eventually just go, this is was not what I was made for. I don't want to be the Bat. Or will there be resistance to giving up the Bat? Or will Kate Kane actually die? Who knows? In the comments what you've been thinking of the new Bat with Ryan Wilder. And let me know what you've been thinking of the parallels to the Crows to the cops in real life and everything else mentioned in this video. And if you liked it, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. To do this is what I do on this channel, and I hope you want to see more of me. So yeah, thank you guys so much again. Know that you're loved, and I'll see you next time.